Hey there, welcome to Ems and Friends. I'm a qualified therapist and everything in these videos is based upon my own personal or professional opinion and sourced from the public domain under the Fair Use and Fair Dealings guideline. Thank you for watching. Hey Bubble family, welcome back to the channel. I know you're probably going to get sick of my face at some point because this is now video number 2. So this video is going to be episode 3 on narcissism. And so I hope that you've seen. If you haven't, I will put the links either in this video or they will be in the description box below. If I can, I might try and do them at the end of the video, so then you can click on those if you haven't seen the other 2 that I've done on narcissism. As you know, one of them I believe I have done in reference to Megan, and I was going to delete that one, but actually I'm going to keep that up there because it is the first one that I did and I do think it's relative, so I'm going to keep that one up there. But in this one I'm going to talk about gaslighting, and I think from my personal perspective, well actually and professional perspective, I feel this is one of the worst traits of narcissism. I think gaslighting can actually, you can feel like you're the strongest person, but actually gaslighting can get you, and they can do it in the most subtle ways. Some things are quite extreme. We've seen things, and obviously the term is coined from, and I will find a link to it. There is a film, and that's where the term gaslighting was coined from, basically, because in the film, this guy gaslights this woman so terribly, and creates her to feel like she's going crazy. And that's where the term, it's a very old film, and that's where the term was coined from. This is where gaslighting comes from. And a lot of it was because I think in the film, and correct me if I'm wrong, there might be people that know the film more than I do, but there's a term where he does something with a gaslighter. And I can't recall if it was like a torch or something, where he does something with the torch and he keeps changing it. And so she keeps asking him if he's changed it, and he's like, no, I haven't. You're going mad. And that's where the term come from, because it was to do with a gaslight. So I think, it is, to me, one of the most damaging, and it can really, really, really play havoc with your mental health. And I think, if I'm truly honest, I would say most of us at one point have been gaslighted, but surprisingly, possibly at one point have even gaslighted somebody. So we're not talking about when we've done the odd thing to manipulate and to get what we want, or to get out of something, because even as a child we can do it, there's, because it is a form of lying, but it's done in such a way that you're trying to manipulate the person to believe actually they're in the wrong and you're in the right, or what they're seeing or hearing is not true. So the fact that there's elements of us that can do that, to get ourselves, survival mode will do it. Some people can do it in survival mode. But the difference is that you're recognizing that you're possibly doing it, in which case then it's not right. So you do it, but it's not right, and then you don't really do it again. Narcissism gaslighting there is absolutely an agenda. The agenda is to create you to be so beholden to them that they have such a hold over you that you won't go anywhere else. It's a huge element of coercive control. So some of the aspects of gaslighting, and they will start, so usually when you start with somebody that goes into a narcissistic relationship, they can do one of 2 things. You will get the version where somebody will love bomb you. And we've talked about that before when we've talked about the very first video that I did, where they will come in as in, like, if it's a male, they will be your knight in shining armor. They will be funny. They will be charming. They will be your best friend. They will act as if they're the person that you've been looking for your entire life. They will probably shower you with gifts. They will just everything that you think that you want, they will become. They will manipulate. They will be very clever in listening to, You know, you're, before you know it, you're telling them your life story, you know, and they will act like they're the sort of person that would never hurt you, never do anything to you. So you have this quite extreme version. Then you have, like, so obviously I've done the covert narcissism, and there's an element of that where you're going to come across this guy who, or woman who's quite shy, quite damaged, quite broken, or they're kind of just a bit jaded because they've been hurt before, and you know, and they're just you know, and that kind of nurturing part of you, that rescue part of you will kick into play, and that is how they will draw you in. You know, you will feel needed. So they will tap into that kind of part of you that wants to nurture, wants to rescue somebody. So there'll be like the little broken flower, or there'll be the guy that's just gone through something and is just so damaged. Now, I'm not saying that every person that has this is a narcissist, because I'm not. It's a collective, but that is how usually they kind of go. They're either very covert, very, very quiet initially, or they're the extrovert, they're extreme. So the gaslighting will also come hand in hand with that. Will be very subtle usually. And again, this is not across the board. This is just the usual concept of what they can be like. Okay, so when you're dealing with a covert narcissist, someone that comes in that's generally kind of shy or damaged, it's like, say, for example, you want to go out. They will create the scenario where they don't want you to go out. They want to stay in, they don't want to go out. So they will create something that will create you to think that actually it's the best decision to stay in. But then if you really want to go out, they will possibly then do something to bring you back in again. So say, for example, you want to go out somewhere and they don't. And, you know, you're initially quite a strong person. So you're kind of like, no, you know what? If you don't want to go out, that's fine. But I'm going to go out. What they will then do is create drama. They will create themselves to something. They will do something at home. They will do something that they will have an accident. They will something like, for example, I'll give an example. If it's possibly a woman, there's an intruder. There's something that's going on in the house. They will get you to come home. And even if you suspect that might be what they're doing, they will create it to be where they will get upset. They will cry. They will manipulate. And then you will start to think that you're in the wrong and you're the one that's actually going a bit crazy, because actually they've painted it so badly that you kind of feel really bad and really guilty for judging them on it, even if there's a part of you that thinks this isn't right. And this is how clever they can be. And if it's a male, so for example, they will possibly they will do something that creates you to think that you're needed back home again. You know, even if there's children involved, that's something to do with the child, they will manipulate the situation and they will expect you to come back home again. But again, even if you're cross with them, they will then flip that and create it that you're in the wrong because you should care about them enough to want to come home. And this is how coercive, gaslighting can start to happen. Now, if you're dating an extrovert, someone that's, you know, like a megalomaniac, then they are very outward in their manipulation. So, for example, they will accuse you of flirting with somebody. Even if you haven't, if you're having a conversation with somebody, they will accuse you of flirting with that person. They will accuse you of not giving them attention. And when you question it, they will create you to start to think that actually you were flirting with them. You know, so they are so clever in how they do it that they actually get you to believe that you're in the wrong. But for example, if you're meant to come home at a certain time, and there's a logical explanation why you haven't, they will create this scenario that you will start to question your own sense of reality. But they will do it actually very publicly. You know, but they will do it in such a way that other people looking in will not question them, they will question you. And this is how they do it. They're very manipulative. And your own sense of reality, and you can be the most strongest person that you think you are, and they can still do it to you. So, and I'm going to give myself here as an example. When I was dating my narcissist, and this is years and years ago, he wanted me to try on, I'd moved in with him, and he wanted me to, I'd started bringing all my clothes and stuff, and he had this great idea. It was a fun thing. He said, you know, let's have a couple of drinks and let's do a fashion show. So I was kind of, you know, it's a bit odd, but okay, it's a bit, why not? It's a bit crazy, but fun. And he said, we'll try on clothes and, and we'll do the catwalk thing. And please don't judge me on this. It's just, it was a crazy thing that I did when I was younger. But what was happening, I was trying on clothes and then I started to notice that he was kind of going, oh, you know what? Oh, I really like that on you. And this is how it started. I really like that on you. Yeah, that's really sexy, or that's really, that really flatters you. And it kind of, you're like, oh, that's, it's exciting. It's like, because, I guess for me, it's like, it's nice to impress my partner. And then he would try on a few things and, be like, oh yeah, no, I really like that. And then I started to kind of get the negative ones. I don't really like that on you. I actually think he said, that actually makes you look a bit bigger than what you are. And because obviously and this is how I noticed it, years later. At the time, I didn't notice it at the time, and this is how they get you. So because he'd started with the positive, it's like the false positive. He'd started with that. He'd built me up. So I was kind of on this kind of cloud of like, oh, I feel sexy and I feel great and he really likes my clothes. And so when he started to kind of then go, oh, I don't really like that, psychologically, it was almost like I was accepting that because I wanted it was like I wanted the praise. So when he was, I was kind of like, and I found myself, and it's like, this is, and weird, years later how I hear this now, I found myself kind of going, yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, I don't really like that one either. So I would get out of that one and I'd get rid of that, even if it was something I liked. And I'd be trying to find something, waiting for him to kind of go, yeah, I really love that on you. Oh my God, you're really sexy. Or, you look so beautiful in that, And so, of course, when it didn't come for a little while, it was starting to kind of create me to feel a bit low. And then, so, of course, as I started to kind of get despondent and be like, oh, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Lo and behold, then it would happen again. And he'd be like, yeah, no, wow, great. That's amazing. So up I go again. And then this is what gaslighting is. It's like a drip feed effect in a sense. So you're kind of getting that kind of, yeah, this is great. And then no, it's not. So in a way, it kind of goes hand in hand with love bombing. So what then happens then, what was happening is that when I started to then there was an item of clothing, and I remember this distinctly. There was an item of clothing that I really loved. And I put it on expecting him to kind of go, wow, that's amazing. And he didn't. And in fact, he really put me down in that one. And I was so upset that then that fiery side of me kicked in, and I was like, well, I like this and I'm keeping it. And that was when I started to first notice the slight problem, because then he literally flipped and he turned and he literally was like, all I'm trying to do is help you. I love you. I want you to look your best, and this is where the gaslighting was happening. He was flipping it around to almost create me to feel like I was being selfish, and that actually he was doing this because he loved me and he was doing it because he wanted me to look my best. When the reality is, it's got nothing to do with him. And it's in the end, there's a difference between a younger me to an older me now, but this is where I'm hoping this wisdom will be imparted onto you guys. It is absolutely nothing to do with this person, what I choose to wear. Now, I get that there's elements of us that want to impress our partners or even impress ourselves, because at the end, that's, I've got to live with me. I'm with me for the rest of my life, so, I want to be my own best friend. So if I want to walk around a pink bleeding tutu, I'm going to walk around a pink bleeding tutu. And if someone doesn't like it, well, they don't like it, but at the time I was younger and I was really upset by the fact that he was really angry at me for kind of digging my heels in. And he then ignored me. So he then got cross with me because of it, and then he ignored me. And for some people, that is worse than someone shouting at you, and it didn't matter what, and then I did the ultimate thing that I swore, well, I would never do now. But then I started to change my mind, and I was kind of going, well, look, if you really don't like it, then I won't wear it. And of course, that's one of the biggest mistakes that we can make, is because then he started to get his own way. And so then what he then did, he was like, well, no, do you know what? If you really want to keep it, that's fine. That's fine. I don't mind. You know, I'm just doing this for you. I just want you to look your best. And it's because I love you. And, you know, and I just, you know, and I feel upset that you got cross with me about it. And I found myself kind of going, no, look, you know what? It's not important. It's just an item of clothing. I don't really, at the end of the day, it's like, I don't really need to wear it. It's fine. And I threw it away. And this is where they get you. You know, this is how they do it. They manipulate. Now, obviously, you know, this isn't just conducive with a guy. Women do it too, you know, but this is how they do it, you know, and before you know it, everything that you know and love about yourself literally kind of gets whitewashed, and you're now the version of them that they want. And when you start to fire back, which is kind of what then started to happen, bearing in mind, I was only with this guy for 6 months. And I think because I'm a very fiery person, you know, I have got an opinion. And this is not like the therapy side of me at the end of the day. You know, my job is my job. It's like, you know, a doctor is a doctor, and then outside of that, they are their own person. So in my own personal life, you know, I'm quite a fiery person. You know, I've got an opinion and I will say my opinion, and I haven't got an issue with that. So I think that side of me was starting to come out a little bit more, because I started to kind of notice that he was doing this a little bit more and more and more. And of course, the problem being is the fact that I let him get away with it in the first place. My radar was going off and I ignored it. I ignored those red flags. I wanted to be with this guy. So I was bypassing my own moral code to appease him. And so this is what they do. And so, of course, as soon as you let them get away with it, that it's like a green light. You know, it's like, oh, I got away with that one. So, you know, I'm getting away with this one. So I'm going to try this one and this one and this one. And so it goes on and on and on. So eventually I was fighting back more, and I was saying more things, and he would argue with me. You know, he would ignore me more. And so it's like the punishment would always be there. It's like I was never able to speak my mind without it being, you know, I'm just speaking my mind, and, you know, I've got an opinion. I'm allowed to have that opinion. It was kind of like, I've got this opinion, but, oh, do you know what? I'm going to punish you for it afterwards and create you to feel like you're really bad for having that opinion. And so in the end, we ended up breaking up because it just got so bad. And there were lots of other things that happened. But it got so bad in the end that I was just like, I just don't want to be with you anymore, you know. So I had the tenacity to walk away. But there was some damage that was done from that, you know, and even in that 6 months, and this is how bad they can be, they can really create that damage. So you can imagine if you're in this for a lot longer, if you're not able to stand up for yourself, or every time you do, you're beaten down. And that's why I say to yourself, you know, work on yourself first and foremost, especially if you've come out of a toxic relationship. You know, you need to work on why you allowed those things to happen. You know, what was it about yourself that created you to lose sight of who you were as a person? So definitely do that, you know, because gaslighting is one of the worst things I believe that can happen. It can really create some serious damage within that relationship, and it creates you to lose sense of who you are as a person. You stop trusting who you are. You stop listening to yourself, and you are your own best friend. So if you work on those things, you work on that intuition. So as soon as those things start happening, your little radar will start going off, or your spidey sense, as I like to say, they will start going off, and you will then start to go, something's not right here, you know. And actually, do you know what? I don't like you that much that I'm willing to change who I am for you. You know, it's different. Compromises will always happen. But if someone is creating you to change the very core of who you are, whether it be your looks, the way you dress, how you speak, how you act, they got with you for a reason. You know, a healthy relationship takes work. It takes patience. It takes compromise. But both of you are a team and you're working at it together. And it's the same even within a friendship. You know, a friendship is balance. It's not just a one-sided friendship. It's a balance within the two. You know, you're working at that friendship. You're building that foundation of a friendship. You know, so if you're getting somebody that keeps critiquing you or keeps wanting to change you, or it's very one-sided and it's all about them, you know, whether it be work, whether it be friendship, relationship, it's always a balance. And the best way of knowing that is working on yourself first. So if you work on yourself first and you know yourself inside out, when someone comes along and tries to tell you that that version of you is not right, you can go, yeah, do you know what, actually? I've got to live with me for the rest of my life. And do you know what? I quite like me. So how about jog on, not interested? Because if there's elements of you that you want to change, by all means change them. You have every right to do so. But if you're happy with who you are, if you love who you are, then do not let anyone change that. Do not let anyone come on the scene and create you to feel that you're wrong for being who you are. Whether it be that you're somebody who's sensitive, whether it be you're somebody that's outgoing and loves to go out and have a great time, or you're somebody that's quite introverted and you want to stay at home more, you know, the right person will be there for you. The right friend will be there for you. The person that embraces who you are and loves who you are. You know, because at the end of the day, the change has to come from you. It's not from somebody else telling you that you have to change, because you don't. You know, if you like who you are, if you love who you are and you don't want to change, don't. So just find the right person that, like a piece of a puzzle, that slots in and fits nicely with you. You know, because there will be somebody out there for you. You know, and you know what? If you are your own best friend, if you love spending time with who you are, you won't feel that need to be in a friendship or a relationship. That's why the right one will come along, because you'll be quite happy within who you are. I mean, I've been single now for 3 years. And I was always somebody that felt that I should be in a relationship. But actually, working on myself was one of the best things I ever did. You know, getting to know me, getting to know why I was creating unhealthy choices in relationships, why I was jumping into rescuing people. And one of the hardest things when you're a therapist is that you understand behavior. You know, no matter where it comes from, you understand that it comes from sometimes a damaged place or someone that's going through something, you know, but it doesn't mean to say that you also have to put up with it. You know, you can say no. It's like, I might understand that these things have happened. You know, I might understand that in relationships, guys have done what they've done or friends have done what they've done, but it doesn't mean I have to put up with it, and it doesn't mean I have to have that person in my life anymore. And it's the same for you guys. You know, you can work on yourself however you choose to work on yourself. You know, you can appreciate that there are people that come into your life that have brought something to your life, but there might come a point when you outgrow that, and it's okay to do that. So if you feel that someone is gaslighting you, if you start to feel that your spidey sense is going off and you think, no, this is creating me to feel very wobbly and I'm not really liking this and I'm starting to change who I am, then get out. Get yourself out of that relationship, out of that friendship, you know, or at the very least, work on yourself enough. So say, for example, if you're in a relationship, say you're with family, because this is the other thing I obviously get asked. Sometimes you can't remove yourself from that person because they're family, say, you know, because at the end of the day, even in a relationship, sometimes if there's children involved, it can be difficult. And I get that. So what you then do is you work on yourself. So then you work on yourself so much that you know yourself, that actually you can step away from what they're doing and you can see it. So then you kind of go, okay, that's them and that's not me. So then the best thing to then do is that you've worked on yourself so well that you know yourself, and actually they don't phase you. They don't have that same impact, because one of the biggest things with narcissists is that they have control and they have an impact on you. If they no longer have that impact, they serve no purpose and you serve no purpose. And that's why we get then, when I will talk about in the next one, the disown and devalue and discard phase, is because when they no longer can get anything from you, even if it's that narc supply of the emotional aspect of things, because they're constantly creating that drama, if they can no longer get anything from you, they no longer need you. You know, so as long as they're getting something, you will be of value to them. You know, so that's why the best thing for you to do, if you have to stay in a dynamic, whether it be family, work, the best thing to do is remove yourself emotionally from the situation, work on yourself so they no longer have that effect on you. Don't feed into their narc supply. You know, do the bare minimum that you have to do. The rest of it, separate yourself from, and most certainly separate yourself from the emotional side of things. Because if they're no longer affecting you, It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So anyway, so I hope that that makes some sense to you guys. So this is going to be, yes, episode 3. And the next one I'm going to do next week is going to be the devalue and discard phase. And that's an interesting one. So yeah, so I hope this has helped. And if any of you are in, you know, in this type of relationship, I really hope that you listen to this video, and I really hope that you're able to put those things in practice. As always, you can email me. And again, I apologize for everyone that is emailing me. I really am trying to get back to you all, but it's just, there are so many emails, and obviously I'm work, and with everything that's going on, it's just, you know, but I will get to you all, I promise. So please bear with me. And yeah, so please, like I say, look out for when I start doing the giveaways, but I will keep mentioning them, so hopefully you don't forget. And if you want to start sending in your pictures as soon as, please do, and I will put you into the draw as promised. Obviously, people that are my Patreon, you will automatically go into my draw, but if you want to keep sending your pictures in, I would be happy to receive them, because obviously then if you get chosen, you will go on the video. So yeah. So have a great weekend, guys, and I hope that you all are having a great time. I will see you next week. Mwah. Bye, Bubble Family. Bye. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to pop across to Instagram and Twitter and give me a follow there. As much as I appreciate your comments, please remember to keep them respectful, otherwise you do run the risk of being blocked, and that would be a shame. Thank you for watching.